With contact sports under more scrutiny than ever, it might surprise you to learn that rugby has become one of the country's fastest growing youth sports. Stephanie Lydon has a look at why a game that frequently leaves its players bruised and bloodied has so many kids ready to sign up.
Finish through, get the balls back.
When Craig McKenzie started playing rugby nearly 2 decades ago, he joined his dad's club team.
Hold your depth.
There were no other nearby options then.
Good, full speed.
Today, programs cater to kids as young as 6. And this spring, the Massachusetts Interscholastic Athletic Association, for the first time, recognized rugby as a high school varsity sport.
The kids that play rugby are putting just as much effort and energy into it, so it's good that it is finally recognized.
High school rugby players are getting their due at a time of heightened concern over sports-related concussions. Nationwide, participation in the sport most often linked to head trauma, tackle football, is down 9%. Rugby participation is up nearly 50%.
Ready!
All of which seems somewhat counterintuitive when you consider rugby offers all the contact of football without any of the protection. No pads, no helmet. No way this sport could be safer than football. Or could it?
The main focus of rugby is safety.
Peter Hopkins, a senior at Brookline High, plays both rugby and football.
In football, you have pads on, so you just feel invincible.
Lose the helmet and pads, and he says you're less likely to turn your body into a torpedo, more likely to master a rugby fundamental. A tackle that's something like a bear hug, a tough bear hug.
That's the tackle that we're working on right now.
My body really just kind of hugged alongside and let his own momentum, his own weight fall forward. I haven't really put a collision in there.
Ready!
Heads can, of course, collide, and the American Academy of Neurology lists rugby among the sports with the highest risk of concussion.
Find the kicker!
Along with risk, this game has its rewards. The kids out here say it's fun. And local athletic directors pushed for varsity status because it's a sport anyone can play, regardless of speed, size, or gender.
They'll be like, oh, she's not that strong, or like, oh, like we don't have to worry about her, she's a girl. And then I'll just be like, bam, you thought.
No question, your body's on the line in this game. Few players walk away without battle scars, scrapes, and cuts, like the one near Coach's right eye.
It looks a lot worse than it is.
How many times have you said that in your life?
Not too much. There's quite a few.
Stephanie joins me now. It looks pretty bad to me, I should say. Did he get that injury coaching? I don't think so.
Playing. Something about a cleat, a scrum. These things happen.
Okay, I'm not on board yet, I have to say. Do people, I assume you spoke to people in the sports medicine community,
Absolutely.
concussion experts, do they think rugby's safer than football?
It's an interesting debate, actually. Depends who you talk to. I did speak with a sports medicine doctor over at Boston Children's, and he said he's seeing more injuries, which is an indication more kids are playing rugby, but they tend not to be as traumatic as he sees among football players. Said his own kid, if he had to make the choice, he'd have him play rugby because he thinks without the pads and with the way they tackle it is safer.
Just speak to my buddy and occasional guest, Chris Nowinski, who's really been at ground zero in this whole concussion thing.
Right, has raised awareness about that link between tackle sports and concussions. And he says the evidence is out. He says it's subjective at this point. How do we know that the rugby tackle is any safer than the football tackle? I mean, there's evidence with football. There's been a lot of studies that's not been done with rugby.
Is there a lot of crossover? I mean, the kid you interviewed who said that thing about invincibility, which made a lot of sense to me. Are a lot of kids who were playing football playing rugby and vice versa?
There were some kids on that team who did both. You saw that young girl who had never played any kind of ball sport before, so it's a mix.
The only thing in your whole thing that put me totally over the edge, not your fault, when you said in the beginning, as young as 6, there is not a consensus that little children with very soft heads should not be playing a sport like this?
Well, there's Pop Warner football, and that's been around forever.
Well, I'm not crazy about that either,
right?
By the way.
But there are
people like Chris Nowinski argue that age shouldn't be playing.
That's right. That's right. But yeah, there are rugby programs for very young elementary school age kids as well.
Oh my God! Thank you for your report, Stephanie. It's great to see you, Stephanie Lydon.